Good morning, friends. Wow, we got a lot of news to cover. From escaped monkeys to the Senate and House election updates. We got CERN in Europe with new plans to play with particles that they don't fully understand. Trump has already collapsed the German government, so I'm not sure if that makes him more of a Nazi or less of a Nazi. But we'll just have to wait for the mainstream media to tell us. Also, a major terror attack in Amsterdam on Jewish people. U.S. Department of Defense raided a conservative food activist farm and home down in Florida, Alfie Oaks, plus a major Canadian port strike, and an email that I think you may just enjoy from a woke professor to help their students cope with the election results. You'll probably laugh a little bit at that, and maybe at one or two other things, but lots of serious updates. Let's jump right into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in about what's happening all around the world, as well as all across the United States. What you guys are seeing, what you guys are experiencing, what you are hearing. If you have updates, please do send them in. Make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment to get it to the right place. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. We just had Jonathan Rose, the CEO of Genesis Gold Group, on yesterday. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. He really knows his stuff, and his crew over there really do care about answering your questions, educating you, and providing you resources. So if you have some interest in getting some of your retirement funds over into gold, silver, or platinum, you might want to talk to him and his team. There'll be a link at the end of the video. All right, let's start off with talking about the monkeys. Part of this is overblown. At least that's what we're being told. A report went out Wednesday that 43 rhesus monkeys, that's not monkeys that like Reese's cups, but, you know, they apparently escaped a research biolab in South Carolina. Now, that sounds pretty horrifying, honestly, because what were they testing there? Now, the authorities were advising residents to keep their doors and windows closed and to not interact with the monkeys in any way because it could be a public health concern. Far too late, almost 24 hours later, the research company and through the police department released a statement that these monkeys were too young to have been used yet in testing, that they were being bred and that they had not gotten up to age to be used in any tests. So not only were they not used in testing, but they were also too young to carry any diseases. So apparently that whole thing is nothing more than a nothing burger. But it sure sounds funny. So watch out for monkeys. Don't let them bite you. And if they do, then you bite them back, okay? David McCormick here in Pennsylvania has flipped the Senate seat here to Republican, which is meaning that the Republicans now have 53 seats in the Senate, out of the 100, of course. Two Senate races not yet called in Nevada and Arizona, but the Republicans are trailing in both those, so it looks like it might be basically 53 is what the Republicans have. Now, there are two independents that I'm aware of. There may be more than that, actually, but two independents right now from this round of election that won. Bernie Sanders got back into the Senate. I'm not sure, you know, that makes sense why he's independent, right? Because the Democrats treated him so horribly. Anyway, but they all caucus with the Democrats, so it's anyway. Maybe they decide to switch over and caucus with the Republicans. That'd be interesting. Anyway, remember that J.D. Vance is a member of the Senate from Ohio, so his seat will need to be replaced in a special election. There may be other senators over the next short bit that get offered cabinet seats, so this kind of makes it a little bit dicey that Trump doesn't want to appoint people out of Congress or the Senate and then have their seats get lost along the way in the special elections. So he's going to have to be careful about who he appoints because the margins are, let's just say, close enough in the Senate and the House that he has to be careful on that. So The AP, Associated Press, has called 210 Republican seats so far and 198 seats for the Democrats in the House. They need 218 to have a majority. Republicans have so far flipped 2 more seats their way than the Democrats have flipped their way. And it looks like we're going to pick up another seat in Alaska. So it looks like we're going to come out a few seats ahead of where we are now. And that means that that there will be still a thin majority for the Republicans, but it will be enough to keep the House in the Republican hands. All right, Europe's CERN. You may be familiar with them with their particle accelerator and collider. Well, apparently they're moving forward with the plans to build a much more powerful particle collider than their current one. So I know a few of you that will get you very, very not happy. A lot of you who haven't really read into too much of that, it may be a bit more of a nothing burger to you at least, or you're not sure why. But some of you guys will appreciate that warning. All right, let's talk about Alfie Oakes. You may know of him or you may not, but he's the owner of Oakes Farm. This is down in Florida, and Seed to Table Supermarket. And he's a bit of a, at least local conservative activist. I'm not sure if he has too much social media, but the IRS and the Department of Defense had agents raid his home and his farm in North Naples, Florida. That's kind of basically in the Villages. He is owner of Oakes Farm and Seed to Table Supermarket. We do not have any reasons for this raid released yet, but they just haven't said one thing one way or another. But it is interesting to see the IRS and the Defense Criminal Investigative Services of the military. It's an odd and suspicious mix, for sure, especially right after the election. Did he threaten the military with lettuce? I don't know. You know, maybe he was making whole milk or raw milk, and I'm not sure why the Defense Department's involved in this at all. But I wanted to get you guys out there for those of you who are familiar with Alfie Oakes, and to let you know that that's going on. Watch, they'll probably start doing a whole bunch of raids on Amish people between now and the new administration. That's kind of how Democrats seem to work. Amsterdam is in chaos as multiple groups. So we're hearing multiple groups of 10 to 15 Arabs were hiding in alleyways and other side streets. There was a soccer game. I guess Israel was there or something. And so there were a lot of Jewish soccer fans there. And they were targeting Jewish soccer fans. Looked like kind of like a coordinated military operation, because it had these small units of Arabs. Over 30 some Jewish people injured, some seriously so. And it's so bad that the Netherlands have deployed 600 police to the streets to protect anyone of Jewish descent, Jewish religion, and all that. And Israel has also sent 2 planes to Amsterdam to help evacuate any Jewish families who feel trapped in the city. Speaking of the Dutch, let's go over to the Deutsch. The leftist German government has collapsed in the wake of the Trump election. Now, it wasn't just due to the Trump election, but they are clearly saying that it is in part due to Trump's election. Also due to radical green agenda, debt, and other woke things. But Schultz has very clearly said that the Trump election was a contributing factor. This will trigger a no confidence vote in January and an election in March. I'm not sure if they can stave off those things if they can form another government. But yeah, all these countries, they work just a little bit differently with how they form their governments and everything like that. So it's going to trigger some kind of election at some point soon. Dock employers in British Columbia have shut out workers starting Monday after unions provided them with a strike notice. This is 2 out of Canada's 3 largest ports. 2 of the 3 are completely stopped. We're talking about $800 million worth of goods to the United States per day. Or you could say $0.8 billion worth of trade per day that would be coming into the U.S. Is that going to impact jobs, manufacturing, and potentially store shelves in the Pacific Northwest? Quite possibly, of the United States, and impacting jobs, of course, across Canada. Hopefully this is a short little hiccup, and that they will get things back online and that jobs won't be impacted too much, but that is happening out there. All right, let's give you just a little bit of a reaction to the election here. This is an email from a college professor that one of your kids forwarded onwards. So one of the viewers on this channel got their hands on this and forwarded it on to us. So let me read it to you. Again, a college professor to their class. Hi everyone, I hope you are taking care of yourselves. I want to acknowledge and validate the many emotions, thoughts, and feelings everyone is having this morning. I don't know about you, but that morning I was feeling very happy. I'm glad that they wanted to affirm my happiness. I feel validated. I don't know about you. I also wanted to offer some flexibility in hopes you all prioritize yourselves and your health. Ugh, makes me want to throw up. Wow. Talk about insulated. Case analysis papers can be turned in by Monday. If you already turned it in, great. If not, take some additional time so you can put in your best effort. There will be no deduction if you turn it in by Monday. So they get a nice big long extension. I am thinking about you all and want to make space for us to process the election results. How thoughtful. I want to bask in the glory of this, so that makes sense for me too. Yep. If you want to meet with me outside of class, they sound like a delightful person to spend more time with. Don't hesitate to reach out. We will still hold class tomorrow on the 7th. See everyone tomorrow. Take care. And I want to be very careful to use neutral pronouns for this person so this person doesn't get canceled. Because they sound like one of those people that has some interesting pronoun preferences. So we'll just say they. How about that? I can just see the hair colors. All right, the last pirate had this to say about the election, and a bunch of you guys quipped in some things like this, but this one made me laugh so hard I had to just share it with you guys. The last pirate said, Kamala lost so bad last night that FEMA is sending her a $750 check. That's a good one. That's a good one. Works on a couple of levels, doesn't it? Denap says, talk to a good friend's son and best friend. Both have been at UPS for 30 years. Every day they go into work, they wonder if their next they will get laid off. Many, many layoffs in Louisville, Kentucky hub. And when you have shipping dropping dramatically, that means sales, particularly on online stores, and also retail stores, is dropping. And when you see shipping companies cutting back, that's a sure sign of recession, friends. Jay says, I have bought some of the Keystone cans for Christmas gifts and plan to put kits together rather than just giving people junk. Stovetop stuffing has doubled in price since last year. Joe says, Vancouver, USA. 0 eggs at Costco. First time. I rarely see any shortages of anything, but the times are changing. Now, Vancouver, USA is probably going to be impacted by the port stoppages there, but since the United States has its weird egg rules, I don't think Canadian eggs are allowed to come into the U.S. because they haven't been washed and approved in approved fashion by the USDA. Now, I was just in Europe, and I still find it interesting. You go to Europe, and you're walking down the aisle, and there's like canned peaches, then there's coffee, and then there's crates of eggs, and they're not in the refrigerator. They're just there. And I know that unwashed eggs are shelf stable, but it's just weird to see that, right? As an American, because you're like, they should be refrigerated. You don't leave your eggs out on the counter in the U.S., right? Because they're washed. Anyway, more stupid health stuff that the United States does that is actually unhealthy. Roseanne says, North Texas Kroger, out of light whipping cream. Spoke with a dairy person. He said that the supplier couldn't meet the demand. That's not good. And they had to even find another supplier for their heavy whipping cream. Lynn in North Central West Virginia says, local farm supply store out of barbed wire. Got to keep those Harris voters off your property, you know what I mean? Everyone needs more wire. A grocery store had eggs, but way less than they used to. Milk up 59 cents a gallon over the past couple weeks. Cottage cheese, we've been talking about that, up 49 cents over the past couple weeks too. Going more healthy here. Almost eliminated all of our artificial sweeteners, which has been a challenge with a diabetic in the house. Once again, that's West Virginia. Highlander has a concerning update here. Frankfort, Kentucky. I work in a secure government building where nearly every floor deals with important documents which have things like social security numbers and banking information. The Department of Revenue is also in my building. They have contracted to have inmates, prison inmates, work delivering mail and such in the building. The building is only secure in the sense that one of the many entrances has a security guard posted at it, and the doors are locked when closed. There is no protection whatsoever for employees once inside the building. Due to diversity, the majority of the employees in my department are female. Wednesday was the first day with the inmates, and there was an incident within the first hour. Due to remodeling, it will be common for there to only be a few ladies working on the whole floor. I've yet to see any supervision over the inmates. In my opinion, it's a recipe for disaster. Government for you. Government. It's prison inmates wandering around freely in a building where they process and use social security numbers and banking information. What could possibly go wrong? Not to mention the safety of the workers inside the building who are being thrown into basically a prison. Anyway, SWR says, thank you for the update on Keystone Meats. They have the Walmart, at least in my area, has them marked down to $4 for the small cans, which if you put them together, that's $8 for the equivalent of a large can of beef, which is actually a really good price. During Milton, I took their canned hamburger and dumped some barbecue sauce on it and heated it just with the sun. Served over buns, it was well received. Having food that's already cooked in cans is such a convenient thing. And it's not terribly expensive. It's not that much more expensive than getting fresh stuff. All right, friends, if you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do with your retirement account, or if you have some questions you want to get answered, there's a link right there. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up there. I'll see you guys over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.